Hey everybody, how you doing? This is about to be a really fun video. For this video, we're talking about 204 Ruger. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get right to it. We're gonna make sure it's dead on nuts at 0. I'm gonna get a chronograph speed, and then we're gonna start walking it out on steel after I've calculated the drop and the scope dials, and I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. So a whole bunch of data on 204 Ruger and how to stretch it out. It's an awesome cartridge. Let me show you everything I'm using in my rig here, and then we'll get right to 0 on this thing and get to the video. This is gonna be a whole lot of fun. It might not look like it, but this is actually a Ruger American Predator that I just put one of these Oryx stocks in. Super easy to change the stock. It's the Predator, so they did come with a threaded barrel. This is my Banish 223 can on there. This barrel's threaded 1/2 by 28, so that's an awesome can for this. And on top, I've got a Blackhound. Blackhound's another one we get big discounts on with the code WHOTEEWHO, so if you're looking for a Blackhound, code WHOTEEWHO will knock some of the price off. The ammo that I'm gonna be using here for this video is this Remington Premier AccuTip V 40 grain. They also load a 32 grain, but we're gonna be using the 40 grain here for this video. First thing I gotta do is make sure that it's dead on at 0. I haven't had this thing out in quite a while. It'll be on paper at 100, but I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit of tweaking before we start stretching it out. Let's do that real quick. Let me get my target camera set up. Eyes and ears, you should wear them. Ask me how I know. Some of y'all will get that joke, some of y'all won't. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you're subscribed. I've got new videos every day. I'm doing this exact same video teaching you how to stretch out your rig with every single cartridge known to man. Seriously, I've already done this 5 or 6 cartridges, and we're gonna do them all. I loaded 4 in there. I should have got this on target first. This is a Blackhound Emerge, by the way. It is the 2-12. A really nice piece of glass. I wouldn't mind having more zoomies on this, but working with what I got. 12 power zoom, here we go. Top left target here. Okay, we are about a 1/2 inch low. Last time I had this thing out with this ammo, I was getting like 1/2 inch groups all day long. So I'm gonna send one more quick here. And if I need to make an adjustment, I will, but we're real close here at 100 already. That one was up and right. So I'm good with that 0, at least for what we're doing here today. We're dead on at 100. Now, let's go out to 200 yards. First, I gotta get the chronograph speed, and then we'll do a drop chart. We'll have our dials and all that. Be right back. I gotta 0 this turret too. All right, real quick, let me send one through the chronograph, and we'll get a muzzle velocity here to use for our calculations. 3504. That stuff is zipping. 3504 out of this barrel. Now, let me do some numbers and I'll show you what we're gonna do real quick. All right, so using that speed of 3504 feet per second, I've got everything else dialed in here. The way you got to think about it, the better data you put into the calculations, the better and more accurate results you're going to get out of your chart. So the G1BC on this is 0.275, 40 grain projectile. I've got that speed plugged in there, 3504. I just measured the height over bore to be almost dead on at 2 inches. And yeah, the easy thing to do is just grab the speed off the box, but if you get your actual speed, your results are going to be so much more better, especially once you start to get past 300-400 yards. It really makes a difference. Also, on this Ruger, because somebody's going to ask, that's a 22-inch barrel. So if you got a 22-inch barrel, your results with these Remington 40 grainers are probably going to be real close to mine. But dead on at 100, we're going to 200 next. The drop there, that first column is only 1.5 inches, so really we don't need to dial anything. This is a mil scope, so at 200 yards we would dial .73 MOAs on there or 0.2 mils. And then you can see going on out there. With this 40 grainer at the muzzle, you see that column there towards the end, 1,091 foot-pounds of energy. And then at 100 yards, it's down to 878, and you can see all the numbers going down there. So dialing is much more precise. So this is a mil scope for 200 yards. I'm gonna dial 0.2. Click, click. Now let me turn on my camera down range and we'll hit 200 yards. What's the speed at 200 yards? So at 200 yards, we're going 2813 feet per second. So that should be safe for hitting that AR 500. All right, now 200 yards, we're dialed 0.2 mils. That's why a lot of people love 204 Ruger for varmint stuff, prairie dogs. I've actually got a video with this same setup, all of this, prairie dog hunting, if you want to check that out. But coyotes and all the varmints, it's such a flat round, people love it for that kind of thing. Here we go, 200 yards, let's send one here quick. And we hit it. Verified our dial. I'm only gonna send one at 200 yards because it's still going pretty fast. I don't want to risk boogering up any of my steel. Let's go on to 300. What's our dial gonna be for 300? For 300, we're dropping 7.49 inches. The MOA dial is 2.38. The mil dial is 0.69, so I'm gonna come up to 0.7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. That thing is a laser. For 300 yards, we're only dialing 0.7. I'll see you down there at 300. Be right back. All right, so 300 yards, 204 Ruger. We dialed up 0.7 mils. Thing's still real flat. If you've been watching this video series, at 300 yards, I've had a 1/3 size deer. Since we're working with 204 Ruger in this video, I busted out a Caldwell coyote target. And it's real close to being basically a life-size coyote target. Let me level out my table a bit here. But all the steel on my range is Caldwell AR 500. Now, let's see if we can get on this 300 yard coyote. Spin my rest around here. 12 zoomies now. Like I said earlier, I'd like to have about 24 zoomies or 30, but working with 12 here, so I really gotta be precise. Here we go. I'm gonna hold essentially right up center mass from the front leg, left side leg. This is when you get 300 and further, it's nice to have a spotter with you. I got cameras rolling, but it's nice to have a real-time spotter. Man, first round hit at 300, and that got there fast. Not much wind today, but there's a little bit left to right. I jerked the trigger slightly on that one. That was a good squeeze. So, our dial is good for 300. Let's do one more just for fun. Oh yeah, we're stacking them in there, hitting slightly right. So now I've got one of these coyote pieces of steel at 400. I've actually got two pieces of steel stacked, the coyote on top of a bigger one, just in case we're a little bit off. But what's our come up at 400? Man, I'm sweating so much the salt's getting in my eyes. The dial up for 400, it's a 19-inch drop. Man, that's flat. 4.5 MOA or 1.3 mils. So I'm going to take it from that 7 up to 1.3. There's 0.8, 0.9, 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So now I'm at 1.3 mil dial up. Let's move it over to 400, see if we can get that coyote out there. All right, guys, 400 yards. My steel probably looks kind of funny. Well, I look kind of funny too. You can't see me. There we go. My steel might look kind of funny. Let me level this table up some more. My steel might look kind of funny. I've got a full-size Caldwell IPSC target in the back and then a Coyote stacked on the front of it. So it also might not sound as loud, but they're clean targets. I just went down there and spritzed them up with some paint, so we ought to be able to see it. Might have to really zoom in with only 12 zoomies on here on our hits. But we've got that dial for 1.3 in there. Let's see what happens. Good thing about this stock being swapped is it has a bag rider on it, so it's easier to use this type of squeeze bag on the back. Now I'm gonna hold left edge of that Coyote, and let's see what happens. Not much wind. You ought to be able to see the trees between here and the target. It's actually almost no wind. I'm gonna hold left edge of that Coyote and see where we're at. The further you get out, the more everything matters. The wind, the spin drift, the trigger squeeze, everything. And looks like we got the top of the target. So we would have gone right over that Coyote's back, but we hit the steel behind it right in the noggin. At least that's what it looks like through this 12 power zoom. So I'm gonna hold slightly lower this time, but my left and right was good. Yep, I think we spined that Coyote. Send another one with that same hold. Two in a row on the Coyote. That one hit almost the same spot. So let's do this. I'm gonna take 1.1 mils out of it to 1.2. Let me load up some more ammo. So that's 3 out of 4 so far on that Coyote. Where'd I put the ammo? So our dial was good. We just hit slightly up, and then I was compensating for the hold. This time I dialed 0.1 mils down, and let's go back to trying to do a direct hold. Harder to see our hits now that we got it kind of marked up, but we'll go down there in a minute. I'm gonna hold dead on now. Up and down, that is. I'm still holding essentially left edge. Hit on the Coyote. Hit right in the noggin. Hit. Hey, Coyotes better look out with this 204 Ruger. My goodness, we're dialed. Hit it again. I think that's all I loaded, but man, I don't know what that was. 7 for 8, 204 Ruger at 400 yards. The 1.2 mil dial was the magic number there. Put this back down to 0 before I put it up. Let's go look at our targets real quick. Man, this is fun. 204 Ruger. Comment down below what cartridge you guys want me to do next. Let's run look at the targets quick. All right, so like I said, down here at 300, I normally have a 1/3 size deer for 300, but for 204 Ruger, I brought out the Caldwell Coyote. It's basically a life-size Coyote. I sent 4 down here. Man, look at those 3. I had my rest squared up and my trigger squeeze dialed right there. That right there at 300, that's a 1-inch group at 300 yards. Just to show you my thumb right next to it. That's literally right at a 1-inch group at 300 yards with that thing. That thing's dialed. But man, this is a whole lot of fun. This is 300. Let's go look at the 400 yarder. All right, here we are at the 400 yarder. So let's see, how many did I send down here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I sent 8, and I was 6 for 8 on the Coyote. But I'm kind of glad I did put it up against this bigger piece of steel, because I probably wouldn't have seen if this was high or low, and I've been doing a bunch of monkeying around. But man, 400 yards. Oh, that's about a, I don't know, 9-inch group. I really widened it up there, didn't I? But 6 out of 8 times I'd have hit that Coyote at 400 yards. Man, that's a whole lot of fun. But there you have it, guys. 204 Ruger. That's my Ruger American sitting in that Oryx chassis. Blackhound on top with only 12 zoomies. I feel like my 400 yard group, I could have shored up a bit if I had 24 power zoom. Yeah, we were from the bench and all that, but still, feel like I could be more precise with more zoomies. And those are those Remington Premier Accutip V 40 grainers. But man, that's a whole lot of fun. Make sure you're subscribed, guys. I got a whole bunch more videos coming. I'm working my way through all the cartridges out there, getting all my own stuff dialed in, bringing you along with me, documenting all the scope dials, and yeah, having some fun at the range. Appreciate you watching. We've done quite a few cartridges already, so hit the playlist and see if your favorite's in there. If not, comment down below and let me know what you want to see next. Tons more videos on the way. Appreciate y'all watching so much. We'll see you on the next one. Hoo-hoo!
Load it up and get all the zoomies you can. 30-06, 10 mil, 50 cal. It don't make a difference, man. We like to